want to be able to play in the game too.
Okay. All right, here we are. We're the pre-pro show.
Requesting an IP address.
Pre-pro.
Pre-pro, does that mean not yet pro? Hey, I have an IP address.
No, that's
John Marcus has already given
I'm
us
getting an echo.
bits.
Got to get this thing on. There we go. Now they can hear me.
Totally got an echo. Why don't we have an echo?
I don't have an echo.
I don't
I
have
don't
an
have
account.
an echo.
Pebcac.
Are you also watching
Greetings,
the Twitch
Lancel.
stream and you need to mute the Twitch
Yeah.
stream?
You have it up in the background.
Whoops.
Pro streamers.
Pro
Oh,
streamer.
man.
Yeah. Totally
I even
pro.
muted my
streamers.
microphone to make sure it wasn't me and it was himself.
Yep, that's a lesson I learned when I started doing the streaming.
Thank you, Lancel
That's what we all
Lancermine.
learned, like about 20
Main.
streams ago, 50 streams ago, 8 months ago.
Pro streamers.
I'm trying to figure out the significance of 169. I guess we are coming up on a release
Hey.
69.
Can you tell I'm in France because I'm drinking Orangina? It's the pulp.
You can also tell he's in France because it looks like he has the back of his screen fuzzied out, but that's actually the heat distortions from being in Paris, France, where it's 100 and something.
105 yesterday. There was 45 Celsius, 105 Fahrenheit. And no one in this country believes in air conditioning.
Right. Well, fortunately, those temperatures can't kill people. Oh, wait. Those temperatures can kill people.
Oh yeah, they our kids were in camps and schools and things, and they canceled them all.
Yeah. Because those temperatures can kill people.
Yeah, just an average day in Texas, of course, but
Yeah. Yeah, but we have air conditioning.
In fact, I had to go buy an ice, countertop ice maker to have ice because no refrigerators have them, no stores carry ice. It's impossible to find ice, but I
All
have
stores
ice.
carry ice.
No, they don't.
you can't get ice in other countries.
Yeah.
We went to
No.
Germany. It took like 3 days to figure out how to ask for ice because ice in Germany is ice cream. Because why would you eat frozen water? Why would you want frozen water in your glass? Ice is ice cream. You got to ask for ice waffles. I think that's how you say it. I'm sure we have like 20 German-speaking people in the audience. They'll correct me.
I'm sure, yes, they'll give you what for.
And so just to be clear to those of you who are joining us right now, we are in the pre-show for the Release 68 live stream, which starts at 3 p.m. Central Time. So
That would be 10
approximately
p.m.
10
Paris time.
minutes. Yes.
11 minutes by my clock. All right, I'm going to ring Beezus and our list again.
Is the prize nader up and running?
Yeah, I got to get that up and running. Hold on.
Yes, and the not-so-secret phrase this time is happy belated birthday, Lord British.
Oh,
For those of you who didn't already say it,
Right.
or just want to say it again.
Right. Because, we're giving you, well, it's still July. So I believe in the 1 full month of birthday celebrations.
Absolutely.
So,
You know what I have? July 14th over here is Bastille Day.
yeah.
So, and we lived near the Eiffel Tower. So, but we had kids, so we had to go to bed for school the next day. So we weren't going to go out there. But in the States on July 4th, we always do fireworks as soon as it's dark. But here they do them at midnight. So so I kept waiting for them. It wasn't until midnight that it's like New Year's,
Wow. Really?
late. Good thing I didn't let the kids go out there at dusk to try to go see them because they would have been really disappointed.
Yeah, that would have been quite late.
Oh, and I don't know if you've seen the soccer stuff that's been happening over here. People have been rioting in the streets, burning cars, tearing down shops. Same thing with these yellow vest folks that are pissed off about this, that, and the other thing, or tearing stuff up down here too. So We're being careful.
Wow, that's so not only is it crazy
Crazy
hot,
There's
there are
crazy
people. So as if it's not hot enough, they're burning cars.
Right.
So like you've got the natural heat coming from the sun, augmented by the heat of a burning car.
Right.
So, wow, that's
Augmented by the heat of all these electronics. Right
yeah.
here.
Wow. Sounds like a fabulous time to visit Paris, France.
Yeah, well, that's the time we got between
Yeah.
the school years.
I'm so jealous of your visit.
Yeah, you're not. I know better.
Oh, wait, can you sense my sarcasm?
My spider senses were tingling.
By the way, I'm still having trouble getting Skype to pick up the correct way. It's working now. I mean, I'm sure you can see it on the stream what you look like. But
I had a patch, but it made me reboot. Do you need a patch?
No, I had that patch too. That's sadly it just hasn't worked since I got on the new computer. But I have it. I've got the multi-monitor thing, so that's actually a monitor up there that I'm capturing the display. But you can see if I like move the game up there, like I cover you guys up. Doot doot. Peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Yes, we're gonna do
Peekaboo.
Oh, I need to go keep the puzzle open. That's why I always forget when we do stuff in the scene is somebody has to keep doing the puzzle.
Oh, right.
I suggested to Travis maybe we have an alternate fishing expedition area,
Yeah.
an event
or a
area
couple.
that has maybe lava or maybe lava on one side, fetid on the other.
But what would be the fun in that?
It would be fun for Travis because Travis loves making these types of scenes.
I like making any type of scene.
We could make a fishing expedition scene that has every water type in it, in like concentric rings.
That's a little like state fair.
Oh, B is joining.
Totally.
Keith is.
I think we should make like a freshwater one and then like a swamp one. Like make one for each.
It could
Oh,
be
they could even
freshwater lake up top leads out to a stagnant area below, which is fetid.
Oh my God, we're totally Hollywood Squares. Okay, everyone needs to practice like we did on the other
Oh,
stream,
wait.
where
I
you
always get
point
it
to
backwards.
the person next to you. It's hard to do. Look, I'm.
Oh, yeah, because
Hey.
back,
I'm already doing it backwards.
Hey, Lord British. Did I do it right? Oh, I did. I looked the right direction.
And don't forget to look lovingly up at the people.
And then, hello, Travis. See, I looked down.
Down is easy.
Yeah.
We are so
Yeah.
easily entertained. It's just too bad our audience isn't.
How are you, B?
You got to
No,
work on your
that's right.
skills of passing the expo marker from one box to
Oh wait, we lost
yeah.
we lost Keith in
He's in a little circle.
Is it who talks or?
No, I'm in a little circle.
Yeah, you're in a
Oh,
little
he's in
circle,
a
dude.
tiny. Oh no, you're in a tiny.
See
You've
if I can
been
figure out how to do
consigned
this.
to a
There's
tiny
speaker,
circle.
window, floating. What does window do? I'm gonna try this. Hold on. That's no good. That doesn't do anything. Float. I wonder what happens if I go full screen here. Is that gonna make it any better? Tiny bit better.
I think this is a record. I think this is the most devs we've had on a single live stream in a long time.
Is Bobby on too?
I can call Bobby. He won't answer, but I can call him.
he's smarter
There
than
we
the
go.
average.
All right, 5 minutes until the official live stream starts. Meanwhile, enjoy all of this randomness that is happening right now.
Let me go back and thank John Marcus. Thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you, Lancel Lancermain, for the 169 bits. Skeggy Media, thank you for the raid. And Legion of Myth, thank you for the raid. Filling up our audience. Lady Ashen, thank you for the follow. And Arvendel, thank you for the sub. And Babanza, 28. Thank you for the 100 bits. I'm going to go ahead and start summoning people to the fishing area.
I have someone to.
But remember, People can come to Oracle Colossus for the fishing contest that starts at 4:15, but you cannot start fishing until 4:15.
Oh no! I meant to summon someone and I zoned to them.
Yep, I do that all the time.
Yep.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, that we have problems with design. For those who missed it, the worst design we have, that's like you right-click on somebody as a dev, you have the option to summon them, and then right by it, 2 pixels above it or whatever, is the teleport to them thing. We did not learn our lesson with Sarah and our page when she did the disconnect. You remember that? The disconnect all users is right by disconnect user.
Oh yes. Yes.
Boot all users, and she clicked the boot all users button.
That doesn't sound like it helped much.
Summon player. Alright, I got Felden. I got Vladimir. I got
Oh, what?
you.
I just did it again.
Chris, did you just do it?
You just
Yeah,
did it too?
it's tough. I mean, the players are, I guess they probably can't see what I'm clicking on there, but it's like it shifts a little bit, and the chat is scrolling too, and it's
Sure. I've never made that mistake.
Yeah, when the name jumps, then it gets a little. Alright, I got Marco Polo.
Hey, what patch number is the? Oh, it's a dev patch.
1019 is what everybody's on.
Okay, I'm at 1017. So.
all right. Let's see.
I think-
Players say their favorite version of that is invite to party is right above kick from guild.
All right, I think
So
I got
we've
these guys.
inflicted a similar problem on players. So
All right.
good job, team.
Oh, except I summoned them to the wrong spot, I think.
All right. 2 minutes. Yeah, no, you want to buy the lava.
I presume Kip from Guild at least has a confirmation step.
I'll get B. Oh, they're all waiting for me to do the puzzle again. Alright, let me do the puzzle again.
Yeah, I accidentally summoned some people to the wrong side.
Eve UX. Do you think we have UX? Come on.
This is not working. Please don't touch the puzzle.
Everybody
two
solved the
people.
puzzle at once.
Yeah, well, good. Too many. What is it? Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
I'm gonna slew up to some crazy place and then summon people up there just for grins.
Oh, the puzzle's not doing anything. Alright, there we go.
Don't summon people to the top of the statue.
What?
Because then they're going to die.
No, you can get down from here safely. Ah! Okay.
No, you
Apparently
they
the
can't get
statue
down.
only has clues
Yeah.
on the bottom, because how could you get to the top?
Right. They can't get down there.
Fire?
All right. It is 3 o'clock. It is start time for the live stream.
Oh!
Lord,
Aw!
would you like to kick
No
us off?
touchy.
Indeed, I will. Hey, wow, yeah, my little bing just went off telling me it is time. Hey, hello, everybody. This is Richard Garriott, also known as Lord British. I'm very excited to be with you here tonight for release number 68. That's right, 68 months in a row. Oh, my goodness, what have we been thinking? And by the way, we are here today to celebrate. Wait, what is it? Yes, it's still July, and so we still get to celebrate my birthday again. Anyway, I'll pass it over to Dark Star, to tell you more about what's in store for you today.
Wait, so before we go on, how old are you again?
I almost said 68 because I just saw the number 68 there. But I am 58. Earlier in the month, I made the grand mistake of, and by the way, had you not kind of pointed it in that way, I still would have screwed it up again. But yes, I am 58 years old as of a couple weeks ago. Again.
Well, congratulations on surviving.
Indeed, thank you very much. It's good to still be with us.
It is. All right. Well, thanks, Richard. I'm Star Long, a.k.a. Dark Star, and I'm the executive producer of Shroud of the Avatar. And it's amazing, 68 months in a row. And just like Lord British, we have survived. And after each of these survival moments, we do a live stream where we talk about the release, we answer questions, we do deep dives, we have things like fishing contests, and we hand out prizes. And how many ways are there to be eligible to win a prize?
I know.
You do?
I do. There's 2.
That's right. There are 2 ways to be eligible to win a prize.
But wait, what are those 2 ways that you can be eligible?
I'm so glad you asked, Lord British. You can make a purchase on our web store by buying some crowns, for
That
example.
would be nice.
Or you can go inside the game and type our not-so-secret phrase, which is Happy Belated Birthday, Lord British, because Lord British's birthday was July 4th, but I'm a grand believer in you get to celebrate your birthday for the entire month of your
month.
birthday. So it's still Lord British's birthday all month. And actually, technically, it's going to, you're going to be able to, we're going to use this phrase all the way through the rest of this release. So he actually is going to get 2 months of birthday celebrations. So, he's the king, so he gets to do whatever. So 2 months of
But
birthday
why do we have those 2 ways?
Because that is the law. No purchase required.
And that means you can play this game without buying it.
That's right. Our game is no purchase required as well. So you can go inside the game, in our game chat, type the not-so-secret phrase, Happy Belated Birthday, Lord British. So, with that said, I think we could do some prizes right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
that's
hold
right.
on.
Okay.
Don't
Click
do
my
raffle.
No, I'm not doing the raffle. I'm doing the.
I know,
Yeah.
but everybody's typing raffle, and they know. I know every person
They're
doing
trolling
it
you.
knows they're just doing
That's
it.
just like when they type "Happy Belated Birthday" in the Twitch chat. They're just doing it
All
to
right.
troll.
All right. While Chris does the prizes, just a reminder that we are, now that we're in Release 68, we have a new set of exclusive rewards. And as part of the continued celebrations for Lord British's birthday, we made our Release 68 exclusive rewards Lord British theme. So there's a Lord
Good
British
choice. Good
round shield, a Lord British leather helm, and a Lord British silver serpent spear. So
Every good spear handler should have one.
yes, they're very cool. So to get those cool exclusive rewards, all you have to do is join our rewards program, which gets you these exclusive rewards, gets you crowns every month, potions, and an exclusive title if you stay as part of the rewards program over multiple months. They're very cool rewards if you haven't seen them. There's pictures of them on the website, and you can see some players modeling them in the game. All right, the rewards have been posted in our instant messenger. I can read them unless Lord British would like to read them out.
No, please go ahead.
All right. So the winner of the Fire Dance Wheel emote is Maddox. The winner of the Breathe Fire Ring emote is Ingel. The Fireworks Mega Set goes to Raven Blackmore. A large stone and wood fireplace 9-pack goes to Elgarion. The large ornate telescope goes to Flytripper, and the ornate village home goes to Lars von Drachenthal. So, congratulations. And Lord British, Radicus2K has a question. Any comments or impressions on the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing?
Well, actually, that is a great question, and the answer is yes, 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 and yes. As you might imagine, the 50th anniversary of Apollo is a big deal, I think, in the globally. I think if you project forward 1,000 years and think of what of human history will be remembered as a major milestone, that will clearly be one of the few that carries forward for, a long, long, long time. But also for me, I've been had the joy of being called a lot to comment on it by TV and radio and bloggers, etc. Including, if you haven't seen it, I just got a digital version of it because it's not showing here in France. They just sent it to me a couple days ago. I worked with Discovery, the Discovery Channel, that just released Secrets of Apollo, and I am the host of the show. And so
cool.
It's an hour-long special where I get to interview almost all of the surviving Apollo astronauts at the Explorers Club. And anyway, I'm the host of the show, so go check it out. Secrets of Apollo. Look for it on Discovery.
Cool.
Sweet.
We just learned about that too. Very exciting. Speaking of exciting, so congratulations to all those prize winners. And a reminder to be eligible for the prize drawings, which we're going to do many more during the live stream. All you have to do is make a purchase on the web store or type the not so secret phrase, "Happy belated birthday, Lord British." And if you've already made a purchase on the web store of, say, some crowns, there are some really cool updates to the crown shop in the game this week, including some combat paintings, mannequins. Finally, we have mannequins for you to display your gear, so you can equip the mannequins with armor, clothes, weapons, etc. There's also craftable versions, but you can buy different poses from the crown shop. There are potion packs. So we had a bunch of potions, including the obsidian potions, growth potions, shrink potions, and the disco potions that were only available as single purchases. Now you can buy them in 6 and 12 packs, so you don't have to click buy, confirm, buy, confirm, buy, confirm over and over. You can buy them now in 6 and 12 packs. And then you have one more week left for all the flame-themed items that are currently in the vault, including like the flame-shaped shield and the flame scimitar, the flame trap decoration. So those are all still in the vault. And then we're going to have a bunch of cool things that we're going to talk about today. We've got first we're going to do a crafting deep dive where we're going to talk about crafting masteries that went live this release and some tweaks we made, including weighted chance and display power. And then at 4:15, we're going to have a lava fishing contest, which is why you see us running around in Oracle Colossus, because that's where that's going to go. Release 68 is very cool, but before I talk about everything that went in Release 68, I'm going to hand it off to Chris Spears.
Well, and as my streamer skills demand, I must thank Babonsai 1 or Babonsai 28, Ice Star Strider, thank you for the 500 bits. Thank you, Fakan. Lord British rules. Just don't get in the top 10. Snugsy1, thank you. Dices, thank you. Lauren Hammerthor, thank you. Dices again, thank you. Lancermain, thank you. And Lucan Crete, thank you for 1,000 bits. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Yeah, this release has actually been really exciting. We got in some stuff we didn't expect to get in. We missed a few things. It'll probably slip until next release just because we have some... I think the big deciding factor on a few things that we let slip was we've got several people with outages starting middle to late next week, and we didn't want to risk anything. Uh-oh, Star's typing to me.
Okay. So Release 68. Release 68 had lots of awesome stuff in it. Crafting masteries, which we're going to go into a bunch of detail afterwards. New user experience polish. New Brittany Graveyard Quest, which is a tribute to Richard's father, Owen. If you haven't done that quest. The ghost of Owen is in Brittany Graveyard.
Cool.
And so you should go check that out. Mannequins, as I mentioned, which has been a long requested feature by players. So no longer are you going to have to put your gear up as individual pieces. You can now assemble those on mannequins. Fishing trophies now go out to 2 decimal places, so there's much more granularity on the length that is displayed on fishing trophies, which is one of the reasons we're doing a fishing contest for the live stream today, because it's a lot easier for awarding first, second, third place on fishing contests, because now we see 2 decimal places instead of a single decimal place on the length. Chris did a bunch of work on combat balance, including a bunch of work on pet healing, and then we did a massive bunch of work on the way lot permissions work, and all of that is in preparation for a couple of big features that are coming down the road. One is the ability to place no trade items on your lot, and the other is the ability to move but not take items, which is going to open up the ability for games like chess, checkers, cards, etc.
Hallelujah.
So that big lot permissions restructure that went live this release was prepping for those 2 big features that are going to be coming down the road for games on lots. And then, yep.
I was gonna say there's one more I don't know that if anybody knows got in. Jason made it so any deco sheet music played on a lot can be played by anybody, whether you have permissions or not. So you can do in your player quest, in your music stores. Now that can be really a thing. You can lay them all out because.
Are you sure that went live?
Yeah, I tried it this morning.
Oh,
Sweet.
awesome. I did not see that marked resolved, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I think he wanted me to test it first, so that's good.
Okay. Sweet. Well, that was another fallout of this lot permissions restructure, was the ability for that to happen. So a lot of big benefits for the lot permissions restructure. And then part of the crafting masteries is display selection power and weighted effect selection, of which we're going to go into some detail a little bit later. And then persistent state for lights. So last release, we had the persistent state for doors, so you can leave doors propped open. And now you can also set the default state for lights, so you can decide whether you want your lights to stay on or off as the default state.
Very cool.
And then last release, we introduced free camera mode for player-owned town owners
And dungeon owners.
And dungeon owners, and we've expanded that ability to player-owned town stewards, so they can also access free camera mode as well. We also finished adding all those top-tier tameable creatures that we started in release 66. We finished adding all of those to the game, so now you can, when you're exploring the game, you'll be able to encounter all of those top-tier tameable creatures. We're also continued adding more leaderboards, and this release, consumables are now part of the leaderboard system. And there's only a couple of more live streams that are part of the old live stream system, where we did the amount of money we raised determine how many live stream items. So we had release 64 and release 65 were the last 2 live streams we did that. So we got the live stream, release 64 live stream, which was the Dark Spring items. Those are in this release. And then release 60 Ward reward program items, which are the Lord British themed items, which are part of the new reward system where you get them immediately upon login. Those are in this release. And then we made some performance improvements, which Chris, I think you were saying you did some metrics on those, and those you've seen. What was the metric you were saying you were seeing on the performance improvements?
It depends on your system. People who had weak video cards and good, better CPUs see a bigger benefit than other people. But just overall in the game, again, it's really hard to tell on these things, but it was in the 7 to 10% range. It was like 3 to 4 frames per second average. But again, we have a tough time knowing exactly because, we get more people coming in right at the start of a release. So we get, a different crowd, and maybe they have better video cards. But right now it looks like it did actually improve things as expected. But again, just continuing to nudge things in the right direction.
Awesome. So if you haven't checked out Release 68, you should, because there's a lot of great stuff for it, and especially with the crafting masteries, it's a real game changer with crafting. And players, as usual, have a ton of cool events. There's a party in Club Zero. I think that's happening tonight. Next week, the Shogun Ridge Chronicles Savage Assassinations event, which originally was scheduled for this weekend, but it's moved to next week. And then this weekend is Lily's Summer High Tea in the Garden. And then there's a bunch more stuff coming in the rest of 2019, including Grandmaster only effects, dyeable leather and plate armor, customizable NPC combos, more. We're going to continue improving loot, more expansions to the fishing system, better boss fights, and more. And then of course, episode 2, quest and journal system revamp, theater system, treasure hunting with treasure maps, item affinity, more taming expansions, customizable NPCs, and expandable permission system for containers and doors. Oh yeah, and one more event that I forgot to mention, the fashion event got moved to next week as well. And this is your regular reminder for looking for group. If you're having an event like the ones I mentioned, Alt-F is your friend.
And I just want to call out, there's some people who are getting summons and are showing up, and some who are not. I would encourage people to make sure you're on patch 1019. If you haven't exited out in a while, that went live maybe a few hours ago. But make sure you're getting that, or else you will be in a different instance of the scene.
Yeah, we're not at 100 yet, but we're approaching it.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Are we in the same scene?
128. Yeah, I see you in the scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, big turnout. And a reminder, the fishing contest does not start till 4:15. So if you've started fishing, anything you catch is not going to count.
We're not telling you not to fish, but
Except
keep
for
it separate.
bragging rights.
Yeah. So fishing contest does not start till 4:15.
Oh, please do not touch the puzzle in Oracle Colossus. I'll do it. I'll just keep doing it.
All right. And as a reminder, prizes, you can make a purchase from the store, our web store, not the Crown Shop, or you can type in-game chat, happy belated birthday, Lord British.
In game, not
In-game.
in stream. Although it's fine to say in the stream too. I'm watching the stream, so you know.
All right. So we've gotten a few questions, so we're going to answer a few questions before we jump into the crafting deep dive.
And I just want to remind people, if you want to ask a question, it's better if you do the exclamation mark question and then the question thing, because that goes to a document where we can all see them. If not, people will spam it off the screen and we won't be able to see your question.
All right. Let's see. XR Hardy asks, any more greenhouses coming? I love the glass ceilings. Yes. Greenhouses are some of the most popular houses and decoration items we make. We just added an angled greenhouse decoration last week, in fact, to the Crown Shop. So yes, absolutely. And then Griffler asks, could the mannequins be made so whatever they have equipped is examinable to be able to see all its stats and bonuses? That's a great question. So no, Travis, I see you asking if they can start fishing. No, they cannot. The fishing contest does not start till 4:15.
4:15, so they got another hour.
Yeah,
Okay.
because right now we're
go
doing
patch up.
crafting.
Yeah, they thought we were confused. Yeah, an hour, another hour.
4:15 is when the fishing contest starts,
Or 55 minutes.
which is what I just said, not 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I was typing that in the in-game channel to help clarify for the people who aren't also listening to us.
All right. 4:15 Central Time. Okay.
Hey, Star, what are the prizes for the fishing contest?
The prizes for the fishing contest.
This is from
All right.
Falcon's Lantern, by the way.
All right. Great question. Runners up will get, of which there will be 2, unless they're in case of a tie, there might be more. We'll get Ornate Fish Throne plus the Desktop Fish Trophy. Third prize will get Ornate Fish Pavers and a Bronze Fish Trophy. Second prize will get the Viking Village Water Home and a Silver Fish Trophy. And first prize will get a player-owned town village water lot property deed. and a gold fish trophy. And
Nice.
to get the first prize, you will need to catch one of the rare lava fish, like the Dunkleosteus or the Mosasaurus.
By the way, I'm behind on thanking people for bits. Thank you, Maynard. Thank you, Snugsy1. Thank you times 1,000 XXRD. And thank you, Dart and Obscuro, Spry1, Kenneth123. Thank you for 1,000. Thank you. And Scooby-Doo, thank you for 300. And Snugsy1, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
And hey, you guys went off script a little bit there, but you gonna give the Crown Shop update?
I already did. I gave that.
Okay. Whoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's more stuff coming next week, too, so check in
Yeah, we got
next week.
some cool stuff coming up next week, too. And there'll be another vault round, plus some other new deco items that are coming as well.
Okay.
But yeah, combat paintings, which are these cool new. So just like we've done paintings of the different regions, we've got some cool new combat themed paintings. The mannequins, of course, that we've talked about previously, and potion packs, and then the vault rounds, which include some pretty rare telethon items that have never been sold before, and Tower Town home, the very first fantasy homes we made, i.e. not just a wooden plaster traditional medieval home that expired. So those are all in the vault, and they have one more week left. Those expire next Thursday. All right, so I think we're going to jump into the crafting deep dive. So, Lord British, would you like to give an introduction?
I would very much love to. In fact, by the way, crafting. By the way, we've introduced. You've heard me introduce it before, I expect, but crafting is one of my favorite systems. That has been since UO. I think when we were developing Ultima Online, I didn't frankly have the vision to realize how powerful that was. But as soon as we even went into beta, and I began to see how economy could work so well, people taking specialty activities and then relying upon the community to support each other. I realized the power of a great crafting system. So it's been something I've always hoped we would reach, and I think this team has done a mighty fine job in building one of the very best systems for crafting to date. And it does nothing to keep getting better. They, not only on a weekly basis, but little tweaks, but periodically make revisions. And I think anyway, the crafting is already phenomenal and can continue. So please, let's go on into crafting and tell folks about it.
All right. Well, the heat wave, I think, is affecting your reception, or something's happening with your audio. But I think the summary is Lord British loves our crafting.
We got most of the words.
You
did cut out some.
30% of the. I blame the burning cars.
Probably so. The burning cars just out my window. The big news, the big three new things we did for Release 68. Of course, the biggest one is Crafting Masteries, formerly known as Crafting Specialization. But we made the big decision to make it available. Instead of limiting you to one, we decided to make it available, all of them available to every character.
Can I talk about why?
Yes.
Okay.
But let me finish listing all three.
Okay.
And then display selection power. So during while you're masterworking and enchanting, we now display the power that the effect will contribute to the item, so you can make an intelligent decision. So it says dexterity and greater dexterity, and it says whether that's going to add a +1 or a +2 to the item, and that also shows in the tooltip of the item now. And then weighted effects selection. So that masterwork and enchantment effects can now have a weighted effect that represents how rare they are. So that allows us to now introduce items, relative rarity items. Oh yeah, so if you're not chatting, if you can mute, because I think that part of why someone has a fan that's doing a lot of background noise. All right.
It's probably the road. It's probably me. Let me do it.
Yep. All right. So, yes, that was it. Definitely. All right. So the biggest change, the two biggest changes from what we originally talked about, what this would be is, we changed it from being a just pick anything to making it so that you have a chance to basically refresh the list of what your choices are of effects. And we changed it from having to decide which specialization you were going to choose, whether it was tailoring or carpentry or smithing, and letting you have anyone. And so, yeah, Chris, if you want to talk about why we made those two decisions, and B, if you want to weigh in too, that'd be great. Chris?
Well, I'll let B take the first one. I'll take the second one on why we went with all of them, because that was kind of me last minute pushing that idea on people. And it's mainly because we looked at it and we were trying to match things up with the combat and how the combat skills work. But actually, when we got in there, implement it, and started looking at it, combat, there's no way you could go and change specializations in the middle of combat and have like a different thing going on, or change characters in the middle of combat. So the choices are real, and it's not like you can pause combat, go change characters, and come and fight again. For crafting, on the other hand, because it's all in multiple steps, what it would actually do is we felt it was going to push people to just have a bunch of alts. And then if you wanted to have 3 different specializations, well, you just have, your main character and 3 different alts. So it was really going to just force a more tedious, make the optimal way to do things to have a more tedious mechanic in there where you're constantly logging in and logging out other characters. And we're trying to get away from, wherever possible, trying to get away from those, making the optimal thing the tedious thing. So that was kind of the main reason, is we didn't want to force you guys to have to do something tedious. And that tedious thing, like leveling up your alts, would have been easy because we also have the shared experience pool. So it would have just been, again, forcing a lot of extra tedious stuff on you where you felt, it's one of those things where I have people who ask if something's allowed. When I have people asking me if something's allowed, I know that's probably something that needs to be looked at. And that's one of those that people would have been asking, like, can I log to my alt to do things? And so we just want to get rid of that tedious mechanic and make sure you guys are playing the most fun way. And we didn't think that making it one choice or 2 choices would have resulted in that. So, anyways.
I think part of it is realizing that, combat and crafting aren't the same. So I think a lot of times people say, oh, I get this much experience in combat, why don't I get this in crafting? These are apples and oranges. Now, they're similar mechanics in the systems, but when you have one mechanic like specialization in the combat system, you try to bring it over to the crafting system, it doesn't necessarily work exactly the same. And part of this is just understanding the way our account system works, the way the shared pool of stuff works. I think a lot of those decisions for that we did because we thought it was a good initial decision. I think it is an interesting decision, but we're kind of getting to a point of realizing the sort of design implications of that sort of the decision. And then so whenever we're thinking through this, we want to make sure, like Chris mentioned, that we don't set up a situation where everyone has to do something that kind of skirts around the rules to make sure that they have the proper power on their character, because players are going to do whatever's necessary for efficiency. So let's just make sure to not put them in that bind to where to compete and to be with other players that you have to kind of do this semi gray area, not exploity thing, but something that we didn't necessarily 100% intend. So I think that's why trying to A/B crafting and combat is the same. We want to keep similar concepts when it makes sense, but when we're taking something specialization, which inherently means a choice, and you're not getting the other ones, and move it over to crafting. That was one of my initial first points of like, well, if we can't, it's going to be difficult to do specialization in crafting, but because when it is a choice, it's going to mean these other things where in combat, it's a similar thing. So it's certainly one of the first things that we looked at and thought about as it relates to the progression system.
So can we? So for folks who haven't yet had a chance to log in and play, can we describe how the new crafting mastery system works?
Yeah, sure. I can explain it.
Yeah.
So the way it works is, we have enchanting. Inside of each, alchemy has enchanting. These are all similar mechanics, but we call it enchanting and masterwork. Now, each of your sort of blacksmithing, carpentry, and tailoring have masteries with certain weapons and armor, and then alchemy has a certain enchantment mechanic that gets applied to any weapons and armor. Now, with these mechanics, there's two different things. You can put enchantments and masteries. So you can have up to a certain amount of these, on an item. So you can have, say, theoretically 5 different enchantments and 5 different masterworks on an item. Now, each successive one that you put on gets a little more powerful, but also gets more difficult to apply. So applying your first masterwork is easier than your second. So it reaches a point where it gets difficult to apply these things. Now, whenever you whenever you successfully enchant or masterwork something, then based on the skills you have, there's a certain pool of modifications that are unlocked. Like alchemy is an easy one to think of because in enchanting there, it has weapons and armor. So when I'm enchanting a weapon, it goes and looks at my skill for my weapon enchantments and then pulls more into the pool. So as those get better, then I get better at enchanting armor. Therefore, I get more options in the pool. Now, previously, all the things in the pool were flat, so that whenever you pulled something, you got a similar list each time. And one of the things that didn't happen either was the pools kept growing. So the pool kept getting bigger and bigger. So as you advanced, players were frustrated because early on there might have been a pool of 8, and now there's a pool of 16. Now there's more powerful ones in there, but maybe there was one that they wanted that they were trying to get. So players were kind of frustrated that the pool gets bigger, but they don't have as much control of it. So with the refresh effects, we have it to where you get another chance, another roll from the pools of those effects. So, if you've done and the good thing is that's after your success. So if you've successfully, enchanted it and you're choosing one of your enchants, if you refresh the effects, you don't have to roll again. You've already succeeded. So you've already succeeded to where you've successfully done it. You're just trying to get a different one to put on there. And so now that those have a power that's displayed on there, where before, there was some text that would describe greater dexterity versus dexterity, but now we kind of have some numbers in there where you can see a +1 versus a +3 so that you know exactly, how much that contributes to it. So really we're trying to give players more ability to control that pool and to give more more chances on that pool so that they have more control of the rarity, so that it's the chances, there's still some rarity, but with some control of the rarity. And that's kind of where the weighted chance comes in for us to be able to, set these things up as like a rarity equals this much power, and then be able to apply those to a lot of different modifications very quickly.
Yeah. So we preserve some randomness in it, but your ability to keep trying for the thing you want, that wasn't present at all, really, and now it exists, right?
Right. Yeah. That's the other thing I was missing, is that effectively these new mastery skills, they heavily control the chance for this refresh effects to happen. So this isn't something that necessarily happens until you get to these skills. One of these skills, I think sometimes we have something to where, we introduce it at the first of the game, but it takes, somewhere at the end of the game, you get the chance up or you get it up. But we wanted this to be preserved primarily for this. So, once you've kind of done some initial crafting, and then you go into enchanting and masterwork, and then you're kind of going into enchanting and masterwork pools, this is a parallel one to those, to where then you can get more chances on those pools. So it's almost like a further specialization inside of the enchantment masterwork sort of thing. And I think one thing that now that we have the weighted chance and we have this, we can go back and we can tie those existing skills, whether it is your shield masterwork specialty or weapon enchantment, sort of the skills that unlock the abilities, and add more to those, so that as your skill goes up, that more modifiers come and go from the pools. I think one thing I'm trying to do is make sure that there's explicit differences, because a lot of times, like, we will do a thing where maybe at 30 you get something, and 40 you get something, and 50 you get something, and I want to go back to more like at 51 there's certain enchantments that that show up and certain ones go away, and it's kind of like we talked about the master or the Grand Master enchantments, the same sort of thing.
Right.
We want to make sure that at 101 or at 100 there's enchantments that come in the pool and enchantments go away, so that maybe at 100 you no longer see lesser dexterity. You only see dexterity, but then now there's a
Right.
small chance for greater dexterity. So make sure that those aren't, while you want to give people a small chance to get something so they have something to dig for, you really want those big differences, almost like your baseline, like your worst case scenario gets better, as you level up these skills, so that when someone having, I want to make it to where someone having 100 in enchanting of armor means that, there's a minimum of things in the pool that is different than at 99 or 49 or something like that. But try to take this 1 to 50, 51 to 99, 100 and above, and make sure that those three things have some explicit things in the pools that isn't just weight, that is, these things show up where these things don't.
Yeah, there was an interesting question or back and forth that I saw in the forums where, one player was asking another, did they feel like the ability for a craftsperson to make a bespoke piece for another player was more likely now, and the other player said they felt like it was, and so I would kind of ask you the same question. Do you think that this refresh effects now opens up that possibility where it didn't exist before?
I mean, certainly you get, more choices, more chances at those choices. The key is, understanding, inside of that, there's some, and I think this is going to come up now, there's some enchantments that, previously they were all weighted the same. But now that we're trying to weight these things, what does that mean? Because, then these things tend to get balanced because, to a large extent, I can offer a player 5 dexterity and 5 intelligence. And I know which one they're going to take 100% of the time. It's like 5 intelligence is worth more, right? That just is. Now, how do we deal with that? There's certain things that, you can't really deal with that as much in the system, that intelligence is worth more than dexterity. That's the system above it. So you don't want to get too involved with that because maybe that's, too granular. But certainly there are probably some modifiers that come up that are slugs, and some of it is customization. The masterwork stuff is related to, the weapon type. So, that's already a little more customized, as in when I'm masterworking a sword, I get sword benefits. So therefore, that's kind of like, maybe looking for a certain skill. The key is kind of what are you digging for? But certainly the case that every modifier that's in there, even if it is, the modifier for, any skill, like for, in Masterwork, you have modifiers that apply to certain skills, and we plan on adding, more levels of those as well that are more rare. So certainly, maybe there's something in there now that's a 15% bonus. We might add one that's a 25, then one that's a 35 that's more rare down the road. As we have those kind of rarities to extend the current ones that we have. But part of it too is looking at what are players digging for other than stats. Because you want to have something more interesting than, that's where the masterworks come in. The idea is that you're customizing the weapon to synchronize with the tree so that then that can sync with your build better. And I think enchantment right now, the idea is that you slot it with gems that, allow you to customize it that way. But it's like we need to perhaps come up with a metric of what people are choosing in a sense, that would help give us an idea on kind of what the ones that are the most popular, and maybe not necessarily do too much balance there, but at least inform us on which ones maybe need, a little more work to look at. And like I said, some stuff we can't deal with. Dex and int, they just pretty much need to be equal on some level to all the stats do. But certainly inside of the skills, there's some stuff in there that, you don't want to necessarily have the slug that comes up or the one that people are trying to avoid. You want it at least to be valuable for someone. And maybe it doesn't sync with your build or you were trying to get, something else. But I think part of it too is I think we want to go the route of gems, because the gem is, and sort of like Masterwork, the gem is the way you do customize it some, right? Like if I put a red gem in there, then maybe that unlocks, more powerful things that aren't just related to red or, something along those lines. Certainly we need to extend the gem socketing and that, locking off abilities, because there's a lot of area there. And I think that's one of those things where, inside the game systems, there's a lot of areas for us to extend it and expand it. And I think we're kind of getting to some of those now as we kind of see those. But certainly it giving you more chances, at the same pools and giving you a better chance to kind of control the pools. I think certainly people have a better control over it. And I think as we also get back to where the components themselves, a lot of the original idea was the fact of, you knew what the components did, like the stuff to create it. and that's what you customized. And then later you apply these modifiers post fact. So, that if you needed a sword like an iron sword with this sort of hilt is what the player needed. So I think as we go back and rework components to where they're more powerful, to where there is like an upper tier of that, then maybe that gets easier too, because there is a base power that you are explicitly, that you see. And I think one thing, I know we talked about this before, I need to look at this in Jury again, remember, when we talked a long time ago about putting the tooltips on the components, we still don't do that. And I think that, like, I play a game, some mobile games and things like that. I need to go back and revisit that. But certainly the fact of, you have to apply it to the item before you even see what it does. At one point we wanted, carpenters to have some knowledge of metals, so that, I know that this metal does that, but, you just they will learn that via understanding the stats. But, once you apply it on there, so I think that's something we'll look at next release that, will help, sort of understand, what a component does versus this, and let people more customize that first step of enchantment with a greater power. And that, because I think, the enchantment and masterwork, you let people keep going so they keep going,
Well, yeah, and I think the important thing that folks need to understand too is that the three things we put in this release were really fundamental architectural additions to the crafting system that are going to open up a ton of things for us, right? And so,
yeah, I mean the weighted, the combination of things is going to open a ton of stuff for us. And what I like about it is it allows us to keep extending it. I know one thing originally people thought about was, shouldn't these skills be after the masterwork specific skills? Like, should it be like their shield masterwork? Should it be underneath that? But we went back and paralleled it as parallel to that. So you need the masterwork to go into it. But I think we can layer skills underneath those that have even higher powers, so that maybe there is like a tier 4 and 5, that's only unlocked via another skill that is specialized under that. So that or that those are higher powers. So I think that we have a lot of options now that we have the weighted list, and have this revised chance to sort of add on to crafting in that way. Because I think from the component perspective, that's just data, to make that more interesting, kind of the first step, need higher tier components and different blades and different hilts. And we can definitely do that from data perspective. And then, this is kind of almost the end of it, trying to give people more customization at the end of it. And I think if we kind of, add some more gems in there to give them more control, because it's funny, like, this is almost the only random thing in crafting. It's like, I keep saying we need to add more randomness to crafting from the loot perspective, but it's funny that this is the one truly just random grab bag thing in there, and that people are sensitive to how you change it. That they want more, they like the randomness or they want less. But certainly I think part of the frustration of crafting is the fact that it is very deterministic, as in, like, sure, there's some modifiers that happen, but there's not, different items that I get, or, it's not fully realized in some of those things. So I'm excited about putting more randomness in crafting in different areas. But certainly, this gives people randomness, but some control over it. So it's probably a little bit too random before. Give them a little more control over that, and maybe there's some different ways we can allow them, or different types of enchants, or different ways we can allow them to have lower power enchants, or something like that. I think you can have it to where the randomness gets a little less if players have invested more power in it, and just sort of have the skills be kind of focused on that. Less randomness, more control. And I think you're always going to want the upper rare or epic. You're always going to want some ability for randomness to pull out the rare and epic things, or have rarity equal power in there. But I get the fact that people want some bare minimum of power, or at least some bare minimum of power, without randomness. But the randomness maybe adds the potential for something really powerful. But perhaps there is, once you get high enough, some type of safe enchant that isn't as random, but isn't as powerful as you could be if you tried to go random. So I think that might be a way to do it, unlock something like that down the road, if we're interested in that. I think that the revised effects is interesting enough that we can tweak with that, and how often players get that, and how many chances you get to use that, and how the skill leads into it, to where the more of those you get, and they're pretty fun, kind of the less randomness goes down. So maybe it's a case where give people a little more control over the randomness, or just bringing up their bare minimum power that they're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, the big thing is that we've got now these three fundamental systems in place that are going to allow us to greatly expand what people do, and this big one of being able to refresh the effects list is huge. I mean, and players, if you haven't tried this yet, if you haven't tried the new crafting mastery system, it's a serious game changer. So you should definitely try it out. I mean, we literally had players who had shall we say very strong feelings about the direction we were taking this when we announced it wasn't going to be just pick whatever effect you want, and then tried it, and they were like, oh well, maybe my very strong words were spoken too soon. So it's a huge step forward, I believe, and really this is just the first iteration of it. So,
yeah, I mean, me playing with it on the dev server, I remember the first time I kind of got it working, and me and my little dev mind, the first time I see the thing through the system, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty fun. And I've had to work on some tools to where I get the weighted list where I can control it better and trying to share the data in between them. But, certainly I've been looking at a lot of, taking the modifiers we have, just making more powerful versions of them that are super rare, getting this plus power on them to where you can dig for rarity. And then once we get those, then adding some new ones that are, super, super duper powerful, whatever extra tier of that. But I think we tier these things up. And the key was the weighted list is, you can't have power without rarity. And so now that we have this explicit power and rarity sort of calculation, it's almost like you figured this out for enchanting and masterwork and then apply it other areas in the game too. I mean, a lot of this came out with, we added some item drops that now are become enchanted, like some creatures have enchanted weapons that they drop, and it shows the +1. A lot of it sort of started from that, was like, let's go back and revamp, the plus system to where, it communicates power to players, and then keep moving forward at what other areas in the game can we do that. So we kind of started with loot. I see rusty weapon, and there's rusty weapon +1. I look at it, it's got an enchantment on it, therefore, I see this power. Same thing, it's kind of the same philosophy, when you're digging for these enchantments, you're rolling, this is a +1, this is a +2. You want some sort of, if you have that randomness, you want some meta game for you trying to roll your commons and rares, right? And I think we've done that in these two examples of the game, and the goal is to sort of extend that, further with the loot system and with sort of other things in the crafting system, so.
And also, B, I got a lot of thank you, Chris, for the crafting changes this release. So I guess that means they like it. But I should also point out that like 95% of the changes that went in were B and Wizard Smoke. I think the only thing the rest of the team did for the most part was like idea discussions and bouncing ideas off of us. But that was all Beezus and Wizard Smoke.
Yeah, we did, like I said, we did a lot of tools that are gonna, that sort of rarity in enchanting and masterwork. I think we have 95% of the tools I need to like run with that. So, certainly with enchanting and masterwork, I know that these are things that require players to redo those on items, right? So it's a thing where, if you change that stuff or upgrade it, you got to be ready because people need to kind of, spend a lot of time redoing items. So I've been trying to be cautious with that stuff that we change and try to change it kind of all at the same time, so that it's not like every month we change something that makes you want to re-enchant your items. So, with this system, we kind of got the tools and got the ability to like have this rarity-based thing. So next release, I want to spend a lot of time trying to fix a lot of the existing bugs in enchanting that were either one-handed versus two-handed, or a lot of stuff that had been in there in the past that I've kind of spent a little bit of time analyzing and trying to fix, but pulled back because I know it's going to be a lot of changes. But now that we sort of have this extension of it and we have the tools, then I think we can look at, along with the tiering up the ones that exist, sort of going back and looking at, some of the ones that are there, seeing how they fit in.
And B, to interrupt you there, as much as they want to hear about crafting stuff, I think there's something else they want to hear more about. Richard, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hopefully you guys can hear me now just fine. But yeah, we are behind on prizes. Of all the things to be behind on, prizing shouldn't be one of them. But it looks like we are behind. So I've thrown in my hat in the ring to have the honor of reading this next round out to all of y'all, and they go like this. First of all, the fire dance wheel emote goes to Luna Detal, and then the breathe fire ring emote goes to Burko. Congratulations, Burko. The replenishing fireworks mega set, because on July we gotta have tons of fireworks. That's one of my favorite things. Mushe Ultz as the winner of the replenishing firework mega set. And the large ornate stone and wood fireplace 9-pack, so it's all kinds of parts and pieces, goes to Lumix Uffelson. And now we get to some of we get to the big prizes. The large ornate telescope. Every great home should have a telescope. This telescope goes to Cedric Koonsman. And then my favorite house in the whole game, the Observatory Village Home, goes to Dorkish. Congratulations, Dorkish. Congratulations, all of you, for this great round of prizes. And we're going to come back to you with more prizes in just a couple handfuls of minutes.
8 minutes.
That's close enough, a couple handfuls.
And Chris, you wanted to thank some people?
Oh, yes, I am behind on thanking people just for bits on the stream. We appreciate all of them. iStar Strider, thank you very much for 500 bits. I think a lot of these, by the way, since we're talking about crafting, I think a lot of these bits that came in were people throwing bits at B. So I'll make sure and spin these on a beer for Bees this next time we do a team lunch. Snugsy1, thank you very much. Lord British, thank you very much. You're now a moderator, by the way, Lord British Rules, so you can post links and do other stuff like ban people if you need to.
Thank you. In fact, I did post a link right after I saw that I was able to post a link.
All right. XX Hardy, thank you twice for 500 and 1,000 bits. Spry1 for 100 bits. The Maynard for 100 bits. Snugsy1 for 100 bits. Darton Obscuro, and also Muglywump. Thank you, guys. I guess you guys all like the crafting, because I think that all came in during the crafting talk.
Yep. And congratulations all of the prize winners. And a reminder, there are 2 ways to be eligible for the prizes, which we will do. There are 2. And we will be doing prize drawings every 30 minutes, despite the fact that we did not do that before. You can make a purchase from the web store, or you can type in our in-game chat, happy belated birthday, Lord British. Thank you for joining us in our Release 68 live stream. We have been talking about crafting, which we did major update this release with Crafting Masteries, with our very own Beezus making a major change to how crafting, which effectively lets you do re-rolls and refresh, which effects you get to do. So speaking of that, Snugs1 had a question: will we be getting taming enchants and taming masterworks effects at some point? And I think, yeah, that's in the backlog. It's something we've wanted to do for a while.
That's shocking that Snugsy1 would ask about taming. That's really shocking.
Yeah.
Taming gem, maybe?
Well, it would be effects that we would add to taming specific effects that would go on something like a taming.
Yeah, it'd be specific enchantments for the taming necklace, because the taming necklace is tagged as a
specific.
specific.
One popping up as extra. Yeah, sounds great.
The idea with that was then you would have ones that try to synchronize with your pet. So hopefully you would have, like, you enchant something on a necklace that makes a certain type of creature more powerful, and then you tame that creature, and then you have maybe, like, plus bears out of this. So then there's some synchronization between, the thing that you have and sort of what you're putting in it.
And more crafting questions. Mia Sway asks, are there new enchantments coming based off the socketed gems?
Daddy, what are you?
Yeah,
that's sort of the next level is, having enchanting, sort of doing gems and stuff like that. But that's sort of the next tier of stuff. But that stuff is all mostly data, so I don't really need much code for that. So I think after we kind of do this next layer of masterwork stuff, then having the choice for that in enchanting is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, and we've talked some of the things that we know that are in the roadmap that we know is, we talked about the one we just talked about, which is the Taming Enchants and Masterworks. The other one we know that we need to do is we need more specific enchants and masterworks for ranged skills. So that's another one that we know needs to come, that we need to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have our masterworks and stuff that are related to the skills in the skill tree.
Yeah.
I think it's more the fact of, there's only one range skill tree, so there's only kind of one set of skills associated with that. But certainly that's a full, I guess we run to a situation where, range is kind of only, if you look at combat, I guess range is sort of restricted in a sense because there's just one tree. So, but when I look at magic, there's all these 8 different trees, and look at combat, there's kind of a lot of different trees. So I think sort of just the number of skills, if I'm a fully focused ranger, are less than most. But certainly more stuff we can do to support, ranged or people using bows and ranged skills.
Let's see. Antrax Artec asks, since the crafting changes seems really appreciated for many, but others think it is way too easy now, what do you think about a special item that has to be in your inventory and gets consumed for rerolls? Maybe a boss's random loot. Wow. So we add in a feature that players seem to enjoy, and then we should nerf it with a consumable item that you only get from a random loot. So let me get this straight. So we add a feature that helps ameliorate some of the randomness in the crafting, and then we should nerf it with something that is totally governed by another randomness in our system from killing bosses. Wow.
Are you saying you're not appreciative of this strategy, or you see there might be, or the irony is not lost on you, something like that? What exactly are you saying?
Well, I mean, it seems like we would just totally defeat the purpose of adding this feature in. We might as well have not added this feature. Honestly, we might as well have not added this feature in if we put that in.
Well, and so for those who are worried that they can more easily make exactly what they want with fewer tries, again, that's always a sliding bar, and some people always think it's too hard. Some will always think it's too easy. But the other thing is, in the plan, in the long term, there'll be more things added to that pool, as I think B might have mentioned, so that the chance of getting exactly what you want is going to actually go down. You'll just have more variety over time. So it will get tougher to get exactly what you want. And that's also one of those things we've had players talk about, like, what do you do for episode 2 loot so that we want episode 2 loot? And that's kind of one of those things is we kind of age out weapons and items and that type of stuff just by adding like a few new buffs here and there, masterworks or enchantments that people want. So now it's time to recraft some new gear. And that's also a big driver for the economy, is to continually age out other stuff. So anyways.
What about introducing some new loot drop items that have a really high durability that are just blanks to add? That could be an episode 2 way to do it also, so you can fit more enchants and get up to plus 22 or plus 24 without getting like 5 durability or something.
For episode 2?
Yeah, maybe.
I think you said be careful, when you're competing with crafting on that. So, I think we add stuff to the game and think it's rare, and then someone gets 1,000 of them. And so I'm concerned about doing anything to the loot system, that allows people to circumvent crafting, because they're going to find, some weird treasure chest.
They'll find a way.
So, I mean, that's why I get it. Like, we need that, but I think it needs to be integrated into a way that, you kind of, that there's higher craftable weapons with more durability or something of that nature.
All right, let's see. I like this conspiracy one. although I gave it away before I even read it out loud. So, Omega Flux 1 asks, can we explain the seemingly, and there's quotes around it. Oh wait, I didn't have both hands on the camera. Seemingly, there we go. Disparity of crafting exceptional chance as associated with time of day and active server population. It always seems better during low activity and off hours. Why? Is this our imagination?
It's also true that if you use your left hand on the mouse to click, the odds go up for you to get some more high bonus stuff.
Yeah.
True story. I verified it myself.
Hey,
Yes.
this sounds like a good time for me to jump in with my favorite Ultima 3 story that is related to this, because I was reading some of the mail that I was receiving after Ultima 3, and somebody was writing in going, I found it really amazing what you did there with combat balance, where I was up fighting the big monster near the end of the game, and I was having a real hard time of it, and I was trying to figure it out because I had the best armor, I had the best weapons, and I still just couldn't defeat this monster. So I switched just to using my simple dagger and killed it right away. And boy, wasn't that clever design of you to make it such that you really need to switch to the dagger to kill the dragon or whatever the big monster was. And I'm going like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And so I have no idea what they're talking about, but it made me go and look at the actual code. And it turns out in the actual code, it wasn't that daggers were better. It's that no weapon made any difference at all. I actually had not correctly nested my parentheses and such in my code, such that in fact what weapon you used made no difference whatsoever, and it was just luck that person switched to a dagger at that time and killed the foe. Took off the hit points with the dagger by chance in this case. But yes, you always have to watch out for those hypocritical interpretations of chance and how you read into them, and how the game really operates underneath.
We have some things to read out. Who's going to do it?
Ooh, look at that! Look at that! Hey, I can do it again.
Okay, your microphone's good last time. Go ahead and do it.
All right. Well, I see down here, this is for me, it's 11 o'clock. For y'all, it's probably 4. Prizening. And we're going to do the prizening right now. The Fire Dance Wheel emote goes to Fish O'Casey. Fish O'Casey, congratulations. The Breathe Fire Ring emote goes to Rhiannon Rogue. Congratulations, Rhiannon Rogue. The Replenishing Fireworks Mega Set, because every July needs a mega set of fireworks. That goes to Lace de la Morte. Lace de la Morte, congratulations. And then the large ornate stone and wood fireplace 9-pack, all the parts and pieces you need to make a really nice setup, goes to The Unknown. And then getting to the big ones there, one of my favorite things in the game is the large ornate telescope, because everybody should have a large ornate telescope. Goes to Mandalar. Mandalar, congratulations for your large ornate telescope. And my favorite home in the game, the Observatory Village home, goes to Deathstalker. Deathstalker, congratulations on owning my favorite home in the game, the Observatory Village home.
All right, congratulations, winners. And reminder, there are 2 ways to be eligible for the prize drawings today, which is making a purchase from our web store, buy some crowns, or you can go inside the game and type "Happy belated birthday, Lord British." How old are you, Lord British?
Oh, I'd better calculate carefully this time. And we are in release 68, which means I'm not 68. It means I am 58. So I just turned 58 years old.
All right. Well, congratulations for surviving 58 years, not 68.
58 orbits the sun and counting.
All right, we'll do a couple more crafting questions, and then we'll do the lava fishing contest, which starts at 4:15. So if
10
you've been
minutes.
fishing already, that's just practice, because those fish will not count.
And send me a whisper if you want to summon to the zone.
All right. Let's see. Let's hit this one. B, because we're directly responsible for this. Kelworth Dalport asks, what is up with the mannequin material costs?
Man.
100 boards, 50 wax, and 10 bindings is absurd for one mannequin. Well, just so you guys understand, a mannequin represents the expense of drawing a full avatar on screen. So if performance costs of drawing a mannequin is like drawing a character on screen. So it's as many draw calls and as much, so it's exactly as much as it would be if we had another player on screen. So that is why the costs to make and purchase mannequins are set to why they are. So I know that the costs are high, but those are set that way because of performance issues. So
yeah, a lot of it too is the thing about the mannequin is the one in the store and the ones that you craft, it's not like instruments, right? They're functionally no different. And it would kind of suck to make instruments functionally different. So I get that. But, when we put like a harp in the store, there's no, it's the same as the harp you can craft or find in the game, right? Like it's technically no different. You can still do the same thing. And it's kind of the same thing with these guys. So we have to be careful to make sure this is the first thing that you can craft that has a direct competition in the store, that is functionally the same. And so that's why the cost is high. We've never had an item like this before. And we don't, a lot of times you have it to where you sell it for gold or you sell it for premium currency. But we don't even do that either because things that are sold for gold in the game are such a low amount. I mean, you can't put the mannequin in the game for 1,000 gold or on the store for a certain amount of crowns. Just no one's going to buy the stuff in the store. So, if you're going to give this functionality to crafting, which is, a direct competition to something in the store, other than some tiny visual differences, then, it has to be, some type of investment, I figured they'd get mad that there's iron is male and copper is female or something. That's the difference in the male and female is which bindings you use.
it's sexist.
Yep.
All right, let's see. We're going to do maybe one or two more, and then we're going to start the fishing contest. Let's see.
Let me know if you want me to do the intro too, because you only got give me a minute or so for that if you want it.
Yeah. All right, we'll do one more. Let's see. Let me pick one.
And there was a time long ago
Oh.
where Star and I were stupid and we'd eventually answer every question like in a document, and it took basically a day out of every release, and it was horrible days for multiple people. So we don't do that anymore, but I will volunteer that I'm going to do a Monday stream. I should be on the stream Monday, but I'll try and go through and answer. I'm going to just, rather than taking new questions, I'll just answer the questions from the stream and see if I can get through them all on Monday. So
Good luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Oh, and to be clear, the one in the craftable mannequin has its arms at its side, and the ones that you purchase from the crown shop are in different poses. So they are not the same. The craftable one and the one in the crown shop are not the same. They have the same functionality, but they're in different poses. All right. Last question for crafting. Mystical asks, when can we turn off getting patterns, or at least make it so patterns don't seal scraps? I don't need 5,000 rusty sword patterns. So we do have a task in the backlog to make it so, and maybe we'll tie it to your salvage skill. So make it so there's a chance.
I mean,
But it'll have to.
That's the way it is right now. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter is it only awards one thing.
Right. So we'd have to.
It's that funny thing of we increased the pattern chances because people thought they were too rare, and now they're mad because they're too common. Right.
But we'd have to make an architectural change, right? So that because you'd have to award two loot bundles, right?
Well, that's right now is that, inside of the way the salvage bundle works, it rewards one item,
Right.
So it's like either scrap of this amount or this at this amount. Now there's another layer where you can make it more complicated, where it hits a loot bundle and awards more stuff, but that's just a lot more data. And kind of one of the problems with salvage is it's very, very data intensive, as far as like it's almost like a unique salvage bundle for every item. Like if it drops a unique pattern, it has a unique salvage bundle. So changing those things is like, okay, pretty much take every item in the game and multiply it by 4, and that's how many files there are. So it's like changing the items is changing thousands of files. So that's why it's like I try to do it, in grand sweeps of things. But certainly I think that we need to look at, the way your salvage skill influences your salvage bundles and make that more explicit. And I can see a situation where at the upper ends, you get a pattern and scrap. But I would think that would take you to have a really high salvage, basically, to get that. So I think when we go back and reevaluate this, it's going to be about, certainly there will be a time when you can get a pattern with scrap, but it's going to be about reevaluating the whole salvage skill and making sure, like I say, that things kind of turn on and off as your skill goes up, and make that, the fact of maybe at a certain lower scale you just get the pattern, but at a higher scale you get a pattern and scrap and something else, but making sure that those are more explicit differences from the salvage skill. Because I think I could reduce the number of bundles, reduce the data, but add more functionality, and then have it to where, these markers, like I say, between 50 and 51, there's like an explicit difference. I mean, right now, once you get 51, you have a tiny chance for a pattern. So there is like some differences, but making sure those are more explicit, and awarding like a bundle that is like, the super rare, you have 100, over 100 salvage, then there is a chance that you'll get something with tons of scrap and a pattern and, and a component, and, there's sort of a lottery bundle at the end of those. But a lot of that's going to be looking at those and restructuring that in a way that's not killer from a data side. But certainly the great thing about salvage is there's a lot of cool stuff we can do with it, and I still want to get to the point where we're salvaging decorations and everything, and thinking about it more. So I think all that is from a tech side is there, just with a lot of design issues and a lot of data to figure it out. So certainly that's the direction we're going, is trying to make salvage more interesting, and make the skill more interesting, and make more explicit, unique components. Like you don't get these unless your skill is above this. And a lot of this is just making sure that when people have 100 skill, that something is different. I think we go back and we say, here's this Grandmaster, 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 and I almost want to go to every skill in the game and have something that's different, when you have 100. Like one thing I think we've had in the backlog, and I've been working on designs for this, is, reworking gathering nodes to where there's a gathering node that requires a 100. Like if you have 99, you can't touch it. Like you just can't touch it. Go away.
Fishing.
And then that sort of resets the kind of the loot progression there. So it's like that there is, like let's say there's 3 new nodes, you have to be over 100 to even mine it, and then all of a sudden we can kind of start to play with that, and then maybe we integrate those into some old scenes. So you're mining along, and all of a sudden you need over 100 to mine this one that shows up. And I think you do that across the board to kind of all the resource nodes, and I think we can take a subsection of 10 maps and put those in it, and then integrate them into 10 more, and then
we're gonna have to cut you off, because
So we're gonna start the contest, and then you'll do your intro, Richard. All right,
Very good.
That's awesome. Thank you, B, for awesome crafting info. All right, so 1 minute till we start the fishing contest, and remember, the longest fish wins, and it has to be trophy fish. So that means a fish that displays its length. And you can turn your fish into Atos, or I think List Rostov is also in the scene. I'm not sure who else is in the scene that you could turn into, but Sanyo is also in the scene. And then they will pass along the information to myself, and I will be tracking. It's 4:15 now. You can commence fishing. And thank you, B, once again for your amazing work on the crafting system, and thank you for answering all the questions and providing us all the data.
All right, so are you ready to do some spreadsheet magic stuff? I guess we got to let
yes,
Richard.
but first, Richard is going to give us a little intro about fishing.
Absolutely. I'll just say a couple words about fishing, guys. You old timers will remember that when we first launched UO, there was a fishing simulation in it. There was a 50-50 chance you get a fish. That was the totality of the simulation, and people loved it. It became one of, if not the highest used skill in the game for months and months. And people all have these different beliefs on true beliefs about whether you could fish here or there, or times a day, or other things that made a difference in the fishing. And so we quickly went behind that and deepened it. So for Stride of the Avatar, I always wanted to see great fishing. Personally, I think it took way too long to get in fishing into the game. But we have come back with a fishing that I think is way better than at least I have ever imagined it would be, and it keeps getting better. And you guys are in there catching some giant ones right now, and so you're getting a taste of that. And anyway, I'm really excited about it. I love coming back to these fishing contests. I love the lava fish based upon extinct species, etc. And so I'm excited to be jumping in there to myself to see what you guys pull out.
And who can they hand their fish to? I can go wait somewhere with a bag. And Sanny, are you going to be standing somewhere that they can hand in their...
I'll be on the east side of the river by the big statue.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
on
cool.
southwest, and I'm scaled up, so you can come find me.
I'll post up in another
if you're
spot.
you can't scale up. Remember that.
Oh, that's right, it
makes
gets
so they
annoying.
can't trade.
I think they can. It's just a little harder. I'll cancel it. That's no fun,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, don't scale up. It makes it hard to trade. Yes, so you can trade to either Atos, List Rostov, or Sanyo in the scene, and they will pass the information.
I already have one.
All right, yeah.
It's a Ammonite from Strider Green.
Yeah.
And what do we want? The length is 1.09.
Yeah. Okay, great.
There you
All
go.
right, yes, super exciting because...
Timestamp too.
Well, we're not... Yeah, I don't need to know that. You just need to verify it. Reminder, so this release, in Release 68, previous to this release, we only displayed 1 decimal point to the length. And now we show 2 decimal places. We always tracked more behind the scenes, but we didn't display that to you, the players, and now we do. So that's going to make these contests way more interesting. So we have our first fish in the fishing contest. And a reminder that the rarest fish, the lava fish, are, as Richard mentioned, we based all our fish in lava. So when it came time to redo or expand our fishing system, as I said earlier, the people you can give your fish to are Atos, List Rostov, or Sanyo, and they are devs. So if you have your names on, they will show up as purple names. When it came time to revisit and expand our fishing system, we decided we wanted different water types. So we're like, the obvious ones would be like fresh water and salt water, and then and have the different water types. But then we were like, oh well, we should also. What about if we had like swamp water? We're like, well, not just swamp water. It should be more interesting, like dank water. So like dungeons and stuff. And so we were like, yeah, so it should be like fetid water. And we were like, well, what else could we do? And we were like, what if you could fish in lava? And then we all laughed like, that would be ridiculous. And we were like, oh no, we should totally do it. So now then we were like, well, what would you use as bait? We were like, well, you should use gems, because gems wouldn't melt in lava. And so that's the bait you have to. So you have to have a special fishing rod to fish in lava and use gems. Oh, we have another entry. So Peach Pit with a 0.9. Okay, well that'll work for now, but that'll. So you guys can announce this on the air too. So.
Well, we didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So I'll mention Old Sup called an Ammonite at 1.01 fish length.
And I have Famines at 1.05, so pushing them down.
I should note that I moved down from Beyond the Puzzle, so people want to do it themselves. Kind of like this puzzle, but I'll go ahead and spoil it. It's Moon, Life, Sun, Air, Death, Water, Fire, Earth. I'll type it out in the stream.
What? Spoiler?
Yeah, there's 100 spoilers online anyways, so.
All right, I
think Beast
Ammonite,
Striker had a cool...
Ammonite,
Ryan.
by the way, is the smallest of the trophy fish.
So we're starting off slow.
Yeah, so these are
Small.
yeah.
Okay, well, we got a new big one here, which
okay.
is Thumper Ator,
Uh-huh.
large ammonite, 1.13.
A large ammonite.
1.13.
And what was the name again?
Thumper Ator.
Thumper Ator. Don't know the spelling, but sure.
And
You can correct it in the spreadsheet.
yep. We have another ammonite by Old Sup, OLDSUP, 1.02.
Okay.
It is a good thing we have 2 decimal points now. Or
Yeah.
else.
Well, that was the last contest we had. We had like 13 runners up of like 1.1 something ammonites. But now we're gonna have a lot more granularity, so we won't have all this stuff. All right, so all right, yeah, and you can also whisper list Rostov, Atos, or Sanyo in-game chat, and they can summon you to Oracle Colossus. And we have approximately 40 minutes left in the lava fishing contest.
I got another fish.
Okay,
It's from a large ammonite from Iron Fist Warhammer. It's 1.12.
1, 2. Have Iron Fist Warhammer, you said?
Yes, 2 words.
All right.
All right.
And right now there's just over 80 people fishing, by the way, in case people were wondering.
Wow. All right,
It's
so
spread out a bit, but there's 80 people in here.
So if you catch anything below 0.99, don't bother turning it in because that is the smallest fish. That is currently our lowest runner-up. So current standings, runner-up Peach Pit with a 0.99 ammonite, Old Sup with a 1.02 ammonite. Those are our 2 runners-up. Currently in 3rd place is Strider Green with a 1.0 ammonite. Currently in 2nd place is Iron Fist Warhammer with a 1.12 large ammonite. And currently holding in 1st place is Thumper Ator with large ammonite, 1.13. But if anyone catches a Dunklesaurus or a Mosasaurus, they'll all be over.
And make sure and check your times, guys.
I got an ammonite from Prison Bound, which is 1.03.
Oh, all right. Well, that changes our standings. So 1.03 said,
Yes.
and that was who?
That was Prison Bound.
All right. So sorry, Peach Pit, you're out. So now, if you catch anything below 1.02, don't bother. So 1.02 is the smallest fish. I'm liking this double decimal point.
And while we have no fish being caught right this moment, probably no fish big enough, I'm sure they're catching fish. Thank you, Scooby-Doo, for the 100 bits. Thank you, Snugsy1. Thank you, Stank Eye Marlin, which I thought was a very appropriate name for a fishing contest. Stank Eye Marlin. Thank you, Mandalar. Thank you, Rinaldi, the green guy, who says, Richard, go check your messages. And 4 times, thank you, Omega Flux 1 for the 400 bits. And thank you, Rinaldi, the green guy, for the 100 bits. And Brighton Rock for the 100 bits. Thank you, guys. Uh-oh, I've got a fish here. Oh.
And reminder, hold on. Reminder, you need a gem lure to fish in lava. You can't use other bait. Only gemmed lures work. What kind of fish do you have?
Is it 1.2 or 1.02?
1.02.
Oh, okay. Twilight Tempest has a 1.08 ammonite.
Ah, all right. Well,
All
with
right.
that,
Well, that's about to get pushed down because Famines, who is quite a fisherman, has.
wait, hold on. I haven't finished writing that down. Hold on a second.
All right.
Wait. So what was that, Travis? Who was that?
Who was it?
Travis?
Twilight Tempest with a 1.08 ammonite.
Okay, and then you had what, Chris?
I have Famines with a large ammonite, 1.17.
Whoa. Okay, well that's 1.17. Well, that shoots into first place. And who? What was the name again?
Famines, Phamyns.
I'm gonna mangle that. You can fix it
Yep.
for me.
Pretty sure he's
all
one of our top 5 streamers and does a lot of fishing.
We're typing the names out in live stream Mattermost.
All right. Okay, so let me reconfigure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Sorry, Prison Bound and Old Sup. You're out.
Keep fishing,
So
though.
1 point, but you can keep fishing.
Yeah, keep fishing and turn in
Yeah.
bigger ones.
1.08 Twilight Tempest with an ammonite. You are currently runner-up, and that 1.08 is the smallest fish. So if you do not have a fish that is 1.08 or bigger, do not bother turning in your fish.
Well, as it turns out, I have a fish that meets your criteria.
All right, excellent.
It's a large ammonite from Gareth, and it's 1.2.
1.2.
Ooh, new leader?
That's a new leader. 1.2. Gareth. Large ammonite. All right. Well, oh, sorry, Twilight Tempest.
I
You're
got
out.
another one.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Okay.
It is an ammonite from Kathy Earnshaw, and it's 1.1.
Whoa, sorry, Strider Green. Wait, hold on. Wait, who is this? What now?
The new one is a regular ammonite,
Uh-huh.
Kathy Earnshaw, and I'll fix the spelling when you type it in.
Okay.
And it's a 1.1.
Oh, sorry, Strider Green.
Go.
Sorry, you're out. And that makes the smallest fish to turn in 1.1.
So 1.1 is good. Anything less than that, don't bother.
Yeah. So you need a fish that is 1.1
Oh.
or bigger.
Oh, hold on.
What? Uh-oh.
Stop the
Hold on,
presses.
Let me accept the
Changing
trade
so
first.
quickly.
I got a small Mosasaurus,
Oh,
Uh-oh.
what? That's the first Mosasaurus.
5.83.
What?
5.83.
Thank you, Regenation and Rinaldi the Green Guy.
Wait, how big is it? 5.83?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, they get big. Those are the really giant ones. And who is that from?
from Hex.
Check the
Alright.
time.
Oh,
Oh, all right, I'll check the time.
You know,
Alright.
you do the Alt over. If you hold down the Alt key when you go over it, it'll show you the string and you can see the time on it.
Ah, the alt thing. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
The copying and
So
pasting.
if- look
Yeah,
to
so
the
that's
right.
good. Yep.
All right.
all right. Well, sorry, Kathy Earnshaw. You had a brief moment where you were in there, but you're out. So, Iron Fist Warhammer, you're still in there, barely. 1.12. So 1.12 is now the smallest fish. So current standings, before I'm interrupted again, Iron Fist Warhammer
Time for prizes.
with it. Let me finish first. 1.12 large ammonite. Thumper Ator with the large Ammonite 1.13. Those are our 2 runners-up. Third prize, Famines with the large Ammonite 1.17. Garrett, second place, large Ammonite 1.2, and currently in first place, small Mosasaurus 5.83.
Just a little one. Just a little Mosasaurus.
Yeah, but no one's caught a Dunkleosteus, which I believe is bigger, if I remember correctly.
And what time is polls down? What time is the
Polls down is at 5 o'clock. So there's
5
13
o'clock
minutes.
sharp? There you go.
Yeah, and by the way, that was a small Mosasaurus. So the Mosasauruses get bigger.
And I've clicked the button, but we're waiting on the prizing right now. I'm going to move that up to the top. Number 1 priority.
All right. So while we're waiting for someone to turn in something, let's see. I'm going to hit a question. Let's see. I think this was from Duke Ezekiel Cooper, and I think Chris answered this in Twitch chat, but I don't think everyone saw it. He asked, "Is the permission system going forward as is?" So as I mentioned at the top of the stream, the reason we are doing this big refactor of the permission system is for 2 big features going forward. One is the ability for people to place no trade items on their lot, and the other one is so that people can move items but not take them, and this will open up the ability for people to play games on their lot, like checkers, chess, cards, etc. And so the permission system has to be refactored currently.
And it's also, there's one more reason, just avoiding some CS tickets as well, that we've had some people who share their lot and then they get stuff stolen. We want to make sure you can put stuff down on their lot and not have to worry about your stuff getting stolen. So, I mean, that's the big thing, is that it saves us CS tickets. So,
yeah. Yes, the permission system is going forward as is. Now, if there are big issues that are identified, we will adjust those as needed. But that is.
Have we talked about the other functionality, which I think will alleviate a lot of the problems? If we haven't announced it, I don't want to.
Well, why don't you ask it, and then we'll pretend it doesn't exist if it's something we haven't announced.
The lot palette.
Oh, yeah, and that's something, there's a couple new features that will be coming, I'll say next release. We hope to get them in for next release, which is, the lot palette, which we had a long discussion today about whether it was palette P-A-L-L-E-T or P-A-L-E-T-T-E, because they're both pronounced the same, and they both could be, interpreted as being the type of palette you're talking about. But that is basically, you'll be able to put stuff out on your lot for other people to use. So this is for people like the Deco Divas and others, like you're the guild leader or whatever, or, the owner of a castle, and you're not going to do all the deco yourself. So you can let you put a bunch of stuff in a palette for other people to pull from, to deco from, but not put those items at risk either. And those items could also be no trade items as well. And they'll still be able to move them around. But that's also the other big feature that's coming with that will be, that'll be used for a lot of different things, but that'll also, the other one is the universal find. So you'll be able to basically see where any items you own are at any time in the entire game, not just in your house. But that, again, is another one that is, you guys think we're doing it to be nice to you. We're doing it to be nice to us, so we don't get CS tickets on people saying, I have an item that looks like it went through the floor and I can't get it anymore. So so that'll be there soon, because we don't like having to go find that stuff for you, and we just can't keep up with them all. And thank you, Steiny LLTS.
And I see the prize bot has reported in.
Aha.
Read them.
All right, I will. And by the way, here for the bottom of the hour prizes, we start with the Fire Wheel Dance emote, and that's going to go to somebody with one of my favorite names, Gwynlian. Gwynlian, you get the Fire Dance Wheel emote. Then we're going to the Breathe Fire ring emote, and that goes for Tyrol. Tyrol, you have the Breathe Fire ring emote. The Replenishing Fireworks mega set, because every July needs a mega set of replenishing fireworks. That goes to Bryce Palatine. Bryce Palatine, you have the fireworks mega set. The large ornate stone and wood fireplace 9-pack. That's going to go to Ashen. Ashen, congratulations on your fine new fireplace. Parts and pieces, put something together. And now the big ones, the large ornate telescope. Every great home deserves a great telescope. That's going to go to Badger Kadar. Badger Kadar, you have the large ornate telescope. And the Observatory Village Home, my favorite village home, my favorite home in the game, period, for that matter. That goes to Blackbeard. Blackbeard, you can now set yourself up with a very fine pirate-themed observatory home on some hidden island, if you like. But I hope you enjoy, all of you, your July prizes.
Enjoy. The fish have slowed down here. There's even more people here fishing now. It's not a matter of not having people. It's just that the low bar has now been raised so much.
Yeah, I think we've gotten past these small fish, and now people have to get bigger fish. So again,
Now it's a
reminder,
real contest.
yeah, it's a real contest now. So we have 23 minutes left. The current standings: runner-up Iron Fist Warhammer with a large Ammonite, 1.12. So that means the small, unless you have a fish that is basically 1.12 or bigger, then oh well, you're not gonna place. And that means basically Ammonites are out. You have to catch a large Ammonite. Then next runner-up is Thumper 8-Tor with another large Ammonite, 1.13. Then Famines with another large Ammonite at 1.17, and he's currently standing at third. Currently standing in second with a large Ammonite is 1.2. And then Hex with a small Mosasaurus, 5.83, is currently standing at first place.
Star, I'm gonna have to destroy your stats right there for a second. You ready?
Yes.
I got a Mosasaurus.
Whoa!
A Mosasaurus from Gwendolyn Obscuro, 6.55.
Whoa.
What? And I was about to say it's anybody's game because we haven't caught a Mosasaurus yet.
No, it's Gwendolyn Obscuro's game.
Yeah.
And just in case you guys don't know, the Obscuros are quite the competitive team there. The Obscuro family. Starting won a ton of stuff in the Deco contest, and they're pretty much in every contest, so congratulations, wow. Obscuro guys. Very competitive.
Well, if they're going to catch fish like this, they definitely should be in every fishing contest.
Wow, so Mosasaurus. This is our first Mosasaurus of the day. And if you haven't seen a Mosasaurus trophy, they are huge. I mean, they take up like your entire living room. They're amazing. And they glow, too. They have little glowy bits on because they're the lava fish, of course. And the Mosasaurus, 6.55. So Gwendolyn Obscuro takes the lead, knocks Hex down a notch. And I'm sorry, Iron Fist Warhammer, you are out. You are not a runner-up anymore. I'm sorry. Thumper 8-Tor, you are now the lowest runner-up. So that makes the smallest fish 1.13 now, our Ammonite.
And I zoned pretty fast, so I'm going to zone to my house where I have that stuff, and then I'll teleport right back to this exact spot. It just take me a few seconds, but I want to show off to the fans what those guys look like, in case there's somebody out there who hasn't seen them. And also, in this break, thank you, Babanzai, and thank you, Rinaldi, the green guy, for your dev appreciation bits.
And it's pretty amazing, because I literally was, before Sanyo interrupted me, I was literally just about to say, it's anybody's game. And that could get reset, and then right as I was about to say it, he was like, I have to interrupt you. That's how it goes with fishing.
So this is the, if you're looking on the stream there, this is the Dunkleosteus. Right there.
Yeah, which I think is the biggest one.
And then this one is the Mosasaurus. So that one's 7.15.
Oh,
this
no,
one
no, the
is, yeah.
Mosasaurus.
Yep.
No, I guess the Mosasaurus is the biggest.
I think that's the one in the new Jurassic Park movie that comes out of the water and eats oh, I better not say it. It's spoilers. I think there's one in the new Jurassic Park movie. Maxine and I just watched that. I'm a horrible dad. I let my 5-year-old watch that.
Do you have any of the ceiling hanging ones? Are some of my favorite too. So there's
Oh,
a
that's
way to
right.
craft.
I got another one. Another big one.
Oh,
Mosasaurus from Kathy
Uh-oh.
Earnshaw. 6.74.
what? Another what? That again? See, it's still anybody's game. That takes the lead. Gwendolyn, a brief moment in the sun with the lead, and then so quickly snuffed out. Well, not snuffed out. Still second place.
Has anyone been taken off the list because of
Yes. Sorry,
that?
Thumper A Tour. You are no longer a runner-up. You're out. All right, so wow. Okay, so current standings. So Kathy Earnshaw takes the lead with her 6.74 Mosasaurus. Okay, so current standings. So Famines, large ammonite, 1.17. So that is the smallest fish. So unless you have a 1.17, don't bother turning it in. Runner-up, Famines, large ammonite. Our other runner-up is currently Gareth, the large ammonite at 1.2. And then it jumps all the way to a small Mosasaurus, Hex, currently in third with 5.83. And then in second place was briefly first place, Gwendolyn Obscuro with a Mosasaurus 6.55. And now currently in first, Kathy Earnshaw just jumped to the lead with 6.74 Mosasaurus.
Star, every time you summarize the list, I get another one that needs to be inserted in there.
Oh my God.
No one gives me fish.
So this one's a Mosasaurus. It's not the new top one.
Okay.
It is length 6
Now I see why.
by Venatrix Lacus.
I'm going to totally mangle that in our
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Sure.
Marcus. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So sorry, Famines. You're out. Well, pretty soon here, even a large ammonite is going to be not even qualify. So, because. What? Travis?
Oh,
you
I was going to tell people I'm on the east side of the lava river towards the north if people want to turn stuff in there also. Because I think Chris is going back and forth and they're looking for him. So
I got another one.
What? Oh my God.
They're just coming in a lot now. So this is
didn't
another
even-
Mosasaurus from
Okay.
an engineer who I met in person at SodaCon, by the way. And
Yeah.
he was a very nice gentleman. And his fish length is 6.38.
I predicted it. Even large ammonite, not even big enough. 6.38, you said?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it.
Here.
Ammonites are out. So Gareth, I'm sorry, you're out with your large ammonite. It's not good enough. Sorry. All right. So that means Hex with your small Mosasaurus 5.83. At one point, buddy, you were in the lead. You were number one, but now you're just a runner-up with small Mosasaurus 5.83. That is now the smallest fish. Believe it or not. Small Mosasaurus, 5.83.
Condis has an interesting theory in the Twitch chat that says people are trolling Star with Sanio.
Oh, so they're
They're trying to
waiting.
get me to interrupt you, maybe?
Oh, they're waiting till I read it, and then. All right. So
That's fine.
current standings: Hex, small Mosasaurus, 5.83. So if you do not have a fish that is small, that is bigger than 5.83, don't bother turning it in. Small Mosasaurus. Venatrix Lacus is the other runner-up with a 6 Mosasaurus. So, oh my God, we are at the point where a Mosasaurus is a runner-up. A 6-length Mosasaurus is a runner-up. That's crazy. Now, as a reminder, our last lava fishing contest, we had like 13 ammonites as runners-up. So it's craziness. Engineer is currently in third place with a 6.38 Mosasaurus. Gwendolyn Obscuro with a 6.55 Mosasaurus is in second place, and Kathy Earnshaw is currently in the lead with a 6.74 Mosasaurus. So it's pretty crazy. So this is it's pretty wild, and we got 14 minutes left. All right, so I'll probably flip over the tab to the questions as soon as I do that, someone's going to turn in fish to troll me.
I'm ready.
Let's see. Let's see. Kathy888 says the Carpenter and Argus was selling the recipe for 7,000 each this morning, and now they are 15,000 each. Yeah, so our economic system adjusts the prices of items based on the number of sales that are happening. So people were very excited about the mannequin. So the actual base price for the mannequin recipe, I believe, is 5,000. And so there has been such a crazy demand for them that they are being. And I'm seeing that Sarah Draken is actually saying that they are now up to 22,000 in some places. So that's pretty crazy. So yeah, so if you're in a high traffic town, yeah, the recipes are going to be crazy expensive because right now, on the first day they're available. So I would suggest waiting till tomorrow.
And they're available on any carpenter in the game, so they're not rare. They're just everyone's going to the same place.
Yeah, just find them yourself. Yeah.
So if they would go to like Forest End or Storm's Reach or Point West, might be better.
Yeah, any place with a carpenter, and it's a normal carpenter. There's a master carpenter that has, a couple things, but I just put this on the normal carpenter since it's such a unique functionality thing. It's not on the Deco merchant. It's just find a carpenter and he'll sell it.
They were saying there was still 5K in Bramble, but now that they've been saying that on stream a bunch of times, it's probably not 5K anymore.
Radian Woodlander is saying that I'm taking too much pleasure in telling people that they're out of the fishing contest. So, should I be nicer in my sports announcements? Or
well, it's a form of PvP.
Contest.
It's players versus other players, not with combat but with fishing skills. So, I think it's okay to get excited about people getting knocked off the leader list.
Oh, I love it. So right as Travis asks Chris to point the camera not at the ground, Chris walks off camera. It's perfect.
I think one interesting thing with fishing to think about is,
and he leaves the camera live, and he leaves his mic live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say something with our fishing guys. We have length is the thing that we keep doing here. I keep trying to find a way that we can, turn that into something rarity based, because rarity equals length here. But I mean, is there any with the fishing contest, like, can we add a baby shark that's really rare? Because if you caught it, it wouldn't be very long. Is the problem, right? So right now it's like, our length and rarity are synced up, and I can still do that. Like I can make one that's 10% longer, but the question is, if we do something, can you have some tiny fish that is really weird looking that somehow is part of the competition, like there's something like that stuff. I keep thinking of how to expand it. And I think if we go into, bears or other creatures or decorations, is there some sort of different value like that would make more sense? Right now we're kind of reality based, as in the length of the decoration on the wall, which is cool. It's just if it comes down to, rare things that aren't very big, how do you integrate those into a contest,
Yeah. Cool.
Oh no! You don't drag your pets through the lava. Oh no.
Yeah. 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 Pro tip: don't bring your rare pets in lava. Uh-oh.
Whoa.
They're saying your mic's off.
I can hear him.
No, I get
Oh,
it.
that's right. No, they are
Yeah.
correct. I have a mic for you guys and a mic for
Oh.
them.
Wait, so you got it?
Okay, so it is Terrestria aquatica.
Yeah.
Has a large Mosasaurus.
What, a large mosasaurus.
A large
What?
Mosasaurus, 7.35. Now I gotta check the time on it. Let's make sure.
7.35.
Oh, that's legit. Congratulations, Terrestria aquatica.
Wow. Okay, so that means a large mosasaurus. I mean, wait. Hold on. I gotta type this out. I'm gonna mangle the name again. Okay, so Terrestria aquatica takes the lead with a 7.35 large aquatica. Oh my God! So even a small mosasaurus at 5.83 isn't big enough to be a runner-up. So Hex, you're out. So that means Bellatrix lacus with a mosasaurus at 6 length. That is the smallest fish to place. So that's our runner-up. So that's one of our runners-up is a mosasaurus at 6 length. Bellatrix lacus. So, wow. So not even a small mosasaurus can place in our current lava fishing contest. This is unheard of. So, amazing. John Marcus has a question for you, Chris. For the summon multiple skeletons with specializations idea. By the way, this is not implemented. Because currently you can only summon a single, you can only ever have a single pet, combat pet, ever, right?
Yes. So it's something we know we can do, or just I need to look into it. But this is one of the things we were talking about how to, as always with one of Richard's edicts always for design stuff has always been, never have two things that are the same but just look different. So don't have like, here's the skeleton, here's the lich. It looks different, but it does the same stuff. So trying to figure out how to make it a different feeling pet, making the skeletons. So the skeletons right now are they're not weak in terms of they can't take a hit, but they don't do any damage compared to the lich. The lich is pretty high damage. And that's kind of one of the things we were discussing is making the skeleton more of the tank pet and then making the lich the DPS pet for the death magic guys. But that was one of the things discussed was I'm going to look into multiple skeletons and making that what defines the skeletons, because that also goes along with kind of like necromancers. You always think of them like they've got like an army of skeletons. They don't have one skeleton, they got an army of them. So yes, so look, investigating, but don't count on it. There may be some reasons it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, John Marcus wants the skeletons to dance in a circle around the caster too. So, just to add further complication to the
Oh, that
request.
sounds good.
Yeah, we'll get right on that. Let's see. Duke Ezekiel Cooper asks, I was very glad to see that crafting mastery was kept with the production skills. We speculated that would be the only skills that receive the mastery options. Will there be mastery skills added to the gathering and refining skills in the future, or are the meticulous and efficiency skills enough? So great question. Currently, we have no plans to add mastery to gathering and refining. The efficiency and meticulous skills, we think, cover that well enough. And there's not a ton of different skills in gathering and refining to warrant having mastery there, so we didn't really see a compelling need for that. And meticulous collection already does quite a bit there with gathering, so adding even more to that would be a lot.
Yeah, I think that sort of there's some stuff we need to do to sort of refinement and gathering to make those trees better. But I think we need to almost fix those a little bit, and I think they'll be fine. I think extending them, there's not anything like there is in enchantment and masterwork to extend necessarily. So I think, there's some existing issues with the Antiquus collection we need to fix. There's some kind of stuff with the refinement to kind of give it its own feel that we need to do. But I think that's kind of what those things need, kind of more consolidation and sort of reviewing some of the skills and, fixing up some existing issues. Where I think the production skills and all the enchantment and masterwork was pretty mature and just needed kind of more functionality to it. But so I definitely, we want to extend those things out in the future and add more functionality to everything. But I think gathering feels pretty good. Refinement, I feel like we need to work on the skills a little more, and production feels really good with the new stuff. So we always want to extend stuff, but it's not a parallel thing.
And just a reminder, everyone should fish right up to the limit because we'll check the time on it. But if you catch one at 4:59 and 59 seconds, don't freak out because you have to race to find one of us. We'll check the time on it when you hand it to us. Just has to be server
less than
time.
3 minutes.
Yeah, it has to be the server time catch on it. It's the thing that matters.
Speaking of that, there's only 3 minutes left in the fishing contest.
So are we going to do the final prizing after the contest ends?
Yes.
Very good. Catch your fish. Catch them like the wind.
He's cooled down a little bit after those big Mosasaurus wins. The large Mosasaurus.
Imagine the pain of the people pulling up small Mosasauruses now and going not big enough.
Oh, it's only a small Mosasaurus. Who cares?
Still a
It's only
great
as big as
trophy.
my house.
Getting close.
All right. So to recap current standings, we have Vetatrix lacus with a Mosasaurus with a length of 6 as our runner-up. That is the smallest fish. So if you have not caught a fish with a length of at least 6, don't bother. Engineer with the Mosasaurus at 6.38 is our other runner-up. That's unbelievable that the runners-up are 6 or higher. Gwendolyn Obscuro is currently holding at 3rd place with a 6.55 Mosasaurus. And currently holding at 2nd place is Kathy Earnshaw with a 6.74 Mosasaurus. And currently holding in 1st place is Terrestria Aquatica with a large Mosasaurus at 7.35. Amazing stuff. So it has been we have 1 minute left for fishing. So you have a minute left to catch a fish that can either place or beat one of the current folks. And while we're waiting for those last fish, I'm just going to want to thank the community for all your support. Thank you for joining us for our Release 68 live stream. If you haven't checked out Release 68, there is tons of amazing stuff in here. Crafting Masteries, which we talked about, which is the chance to refresh effects. So when you're enchanting and masterworking, you get a chance to refresh that list. There's been some polish to the new user experience. There's a new quest in Brittany Graveyard, a tribute to Richard's father, Owen Garriott. There are mannequins, both craftable and in the Crown Shop. There's one pose that's craftable, and there's multiple different poses that you can get in the Crown Shop. Fishing trophies now have 2 decimal places displayed in length. There's been a massive restructure to how player lot permissions work, which is in preparation for some new features that will be going live in the next few releases. We now display the power of effects when you are enchanting and masterworking, and we've been doing some balance to pet healing. You can set the default state for lights, whether they're on or off. Free camera is now available to player-owned town stewards. All the top-tier tameable creatures are now placed in the game. Leaderboards now display consumables in them. Release 64 Dark Spring items are in. Release 60 reward items are available, which are Lord British themes. And we made some performance improvements. So lots of cool stuff. And put down your lava fishing rods. Fishing contest is over.
Rules down. Can still turn stuff in for a couple minutes if you have something that qualifies.
Yeah.
Maybe announce in zone. Does anybody have anything that they need to turn in? That
Well,
that
we'll
will
do the
place?
prizing. I'll do the prizing while they turn their things in.
Yes.
So the final prize bot prizing of the evening. Our prizes go to the Fire Dance Wheel emote goes to Bones. Bones, congratulations on your Fire Dance Wheel emote. And Old Sup, you're gonna get something too. Old Sup, you're gonna get the Breathe Fire Ring emote. Old Sup, good. Congratulations to you. The Replenishing Fireworks Mega Set, because every July Halloween fireworks goes to Duncan McLeod. Duncan, you have the Replenishing Fireworks Mega Sets. Enjoy them. Shoot them off in dangerous places. The large ornate stone and wood fireplace set, a 9-pack of parts and pieces, goes to Reese Hardy. Reese Hardy, congratulations. And Hawkwind, another fine name. Hawkwind, you have a large ornate telescope. I think that should go very well with your persona. Yes, please put that large ornate telescope somewhere worthy of its scale. And our final prize of the night, the Observatory Village Home. Final bot prize of the night, the Observatory Village Home goes to Jelena Silvermoon. Congratulations, Jelena Silvermoon. You have the Observatory Village Home, my favorite home in the game. Back to you, Star.
All right, congratulations all the winners, and the party is going to end here soon, and you don't have to leave, but you cannot stay here. But there's lots of awesome player events, including tonight. There's a party in Club Zero. You can check out the event section of our forums for all the details. And then next week, and this weekend, Lily's Summer High Tea in the Garden is happening. And then next week, there's the Shogun Ridge Chronicles Savage Assassinations event and the 2019 Summer Fashion Show Contest. Again, you can check out all the details in the events section of the forums. And then there's all sorts of other cool things happening in the rest of 2019. We've got more things in store for you guys, including Grandmaster only effects. So these are effects for crafting that will only be available once you reach the Grandmaster level in crafting. The ability to customize NPC conversations, continued improvements to loot, more fishing expansions, better boss fights, and then of course episode 2, which will include quest and journal system revamp, theater system, treasure hunting with treasure maps, item affinity and reputation, pet leveling, pet skills, pet customizations are all part of a taming expansion, and then expanded permission system for containers and doors. So all sorts of really cool stuff happening. So I don't think we've had any more fishing things turned in. So
Our winners.
I'm going to call the contest. So final standing for our lava fishing contest for Release 68. Vetatrix Lacus is our first runner-up with a Mosasaurus of 6. Engineer is our second runner-up with a Mosasaurus of 6.38. And in third place is Gwendolyn Obscuro with a Mosasaurus of 6.55. Second place is Kathy Earnshaw with a Mosasaurus of 6.74. And in first place, with an amazing catch of a large Mosasaurus, 7.35, Terrestria Aquatica. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Indeed.
All right. That is the end of our Release 68 live stream. Thank you, community, for supporting us. You are amazing. Thank you for making Shroud the Avatar happen. We are a community-supported, community-created game, and without you, this game would have never happened. Thank you very much.
And I'll throw in my thanks as well. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
And thank you guys so much. We got to pick somebody to raid here. But I also wanted to tell people I'm going to try to answer all the questions that were asked tonight on Monday. We'll see how that goes. I haven't done that before, but I'm going to try to get through most of them. So there's like There's like 11 people streaming right now, and I have some favorites in there with Taiki and Famines is in there and Delane. I mean, there's a lot of my favorite guys are in there, but I think we just do a random because I hate it's tough to pick which one to raid. So I'm going to do a random at 11. Random. I roll 11. Here we go. You guys ready? It is.
Yep.
8. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's interesting. It's someone I don't know. Deaf Ear. Deaf Ear is getting the raid.
I don't think I've seen them. Everybody,
Yeah.
make sure to follow if you haven't followed already. Support your fellow players.
Yep, get in there. You can make somebody's day, their week, by getting go and giving them follow and get them to Twitch partner in one day. Go help them out there. Here we go. All right, I guess we're ready to go again. See you guys Monday. And Richard, don't let the heat get you.
I'll try not to. It's storming outside right now.
All right, guys, let's go raid. Here we go. Boom. Raiding.